Hi, welcome everyone. Good afternoon. It's Marty Colucci coming to you live from Lisa's Care Connection this afternoon. We have some fantastic guests with us today, and I want to introduce them. Let me see who we've got coming on here. I want to make sure that we see who our peeps are coming in. All right. We've got a few people joining us, and as they kind of get in and get settled, I want to introduce to you some new friends of ours that we're excited to really learn more about what they're doing, because it's something that we all need. You know, we're such Google people, right? And so we will Google something in a heartbeat, but knowing that you're Googling the right thing, I think that is where you guys come in. So let me introduce to you, this is Christina and Cindy, and they're in order. Just, we did that on purpose for you guys. And so they are with Adaptive Equipment Center. They have backgrounds in speech therapy and also physical therapy, which makes an excellent combination for what they do. They equip caregivers and really anybody and everybody with the tools and safety tips to be able to maintain and stay at home longer, but also just using that equipment. Did I say that right, ladies?
Yeah. That's it. That is it in a nutshell, Marty. Exactly.
Yes.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about your mission and what you do, and then we'll jump into really kind of learning some things today.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, like you said, Marty, Adaptive Equipment and Caregiving Corner. What we do is, so Cindy's a physical therapist. I'm a speech therapist. We contract with an occupational therapist. So we've got all the therapy disciplines covered. And so what we do is we make quick little videos to show people how to give care to a loved one or a client and also take care of themselves. Caregiving is hard on a body. And so what we want to do is we want to make their job easier so that they don't have to work so hard, as well as maintaining dignity and functional independence for their loved one.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And wow, what a service. I mean,
thank you.
You know, to be able to just have that information at your fingertips. I mean, I know looking at your website is fantastic because, and of course, when we make a video, we can't make it less than 15 minutes is like,
it's hard.
It's hard. And they make it in like 2 and 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's realistic for caregivers.
Right.
So, so I appreciate that and the time and the effort. So let's dig in just a little bit. Well, I do want to say too, that those are free resources on your website.
That's right. So if people go to our website, Marty, up at the top in the menu bar, there's a tab that says free resources. And we've got all of our videos divided into different series, whether it's caregiver training, or maybe you've had a hip or a knee replacement. It's what to expect before and after surgery. We've also got a home safety toolkit that is very valuable for people leaving the hospital and going back home to make sure that return home is successful.
Yeah. And what I was so impressed with, you know, it's easy for us to talk about all these things, but just realistically, and we've got a lot of people joining us right now. I will tell you that Lisa's on. Hey, Lisa. And Allison, our director in California, and Cindy. So thank you for your comments. But to have all that information, for example, like you mentioned, these are videos on tips and equipment when you've had a hip replacement, a knee replacement, tips and equipment for getting around your kitchen, going up and down stairs, in the bedroom, in the bathroom, home safety, like you mentioned. I was really impressed with, you know, how many times do you get out of the hospital and they send you home with equipment? It might be a walker. It might be a cane. It might be something that the physical therapist thinks that you need, that they say, here you go, take it home. And the reality is we all just kind of start using it because we know we only need it for a short time, hopefully. And we never learn how to use it correctly. Even so much as like crutches, right? We just never take the time. Some of the things that some of our caregivers use a lot more is maybe it's a tub transfer bench, or maybe it's just to sit and to stand. So I want y'all to dig into some of the things. I know you've got some examples.
Right.
Give us some facts. Give us some things that we don't know, that we think we know, but we don't know.
Right. Well, a lot of our videos, like you said, we try to keep them very short so that you can look at them, you can review them if you need some extra help with that. But what we focus on, not only equipment and how to use it, but we also focus on the caregiving aspect. So we're talking about transfers. How do you help someone up from a chair that may need some help? A lot of our videos, if you look at the tabs, you will see them, you'll see a tab that's either green, yellow, or red. That's going to indicate to you that that video means that you're going to give your loved one minimum assist, moderate assist, or they may need maximum assist. So we kind of vary the videos, just the simple getting up and down from a chair. It may vary from no help at all to quite a bit of help. So we've got that throughout the series. We have tried to really break down some of the activities, as simple as getting in and out of the bed. A lot of times, people love to pop straight up from laying down in the bed. It's one of the worst things for people, especially if they have back pain. So we try to guide people on, how do you give verbal cues to your loved one? So number one, let them do as much as they can. A lot of times as caregivers, we want to jump right in there and we want to do everything for them. And, that takes a toll on the caregiver, and it doesn't allow the individual to be as independent as they can be. So through verbal cues or tactile cues, we want them to try to figure out, how am I going to help them do what they can for themselves as well? So some of the things that we have talked about throughout our videos, we talk about dressing, we talk about bathing, the different types of equipment. We talk about getting in and out of bed, up and down from a chair. Some of the simple little things that whenever I go into, I still work in home health, and I've done that for about 30 years. And the simple things that I go into to the house, and for example, if somebody has a wheeled walker and they can't get through a door, well, there's a very easy way to just take the wheels off of the walker and switch them. You don't have to physically get a tool out and take the wheels off. You just switch the legs, and it gives you an additional 2 to 3 inches to get through a doorway. So it's little things like that we try to point out to help our caregivers.
So what are some of the most common, Lisa actually asked, what's the number one question that you get? Is it on an actual piece of equipment, or is it more on like skills?
I think a lot of times, a lot of the questions are, people are trying to do an activity and they don't realize there is a piece of equipment out there for it. So they're saying, oh my gosh, I can't get, mom out of bed. But when we find out, mom may be totally dependent in care. Well, we need to bring in a Hoyer lift, or we need to bring in some type of a lift, so we're protecting mom and we're protecting the caregiver. So I think a lot of the questions are, how am I going to do this? But then it's also educating on what else is there to help in doing that.
Right. We do a lot of product reviews now on our YouTube channel too, Marty. And so, therapy people, so occupational therapy, especially in physical therapy, they just kind of think in that mechanical way where they break down an activity of daily living. And they think, what, if you had like a stick with a hook on it, there's a pressing stick, yay. So there's so many things like that therapists have come up with to make it easier for their patients. It's in a catalog, it's online. They just don't know that it's out there. I guarantee there's something out there that can make your job easier as a caregiver. You just need to know who to ask.
Absolutely. So does Medicare pay for a lot of these, this equipment?
So unfortunately, no. So first of all, most of all of the bathroom equipment are automatically taken out of that equation. And the reason being, which is beyond me, is that it's not a necessity. Well, I'm afraid that if the decision makers really had to have it as a necessity, I think they would realize it is. But that being said, there are a lot of these little items that aren't. The bigger items like hospital beds, wheelchairs, different types of lifts, they are, but you have to go through some steps. You've got to go through a letter of medical necessity from the doctor. Just the simple fact of a hospital bed and whether or not you're going to get it fully electric, meaning raising up and down, raising the head and the foot, depends on the person's, what's going on with the individual. You may get, I've gone into house after house that have the adjustable head and foot, but yet they have to crank the height of the bed. And you know, it's frustrating because caregivers need that height of the bed. Mm-hmm. They need that bed. Back. Yeah, they need that bed raised up to save their back. So a lot of the bigger equipment is covered, but you've got to kind of go through the steps to.
You know what else we try to do though, Marty? Whenever when we come across items that maybe not are covered by Medicare, is a lot of places across the country have lending closets. Right. A lot of fraternal organizations, a lot of churches or hospitals and stuff. So if there's an issue with finance, we always try to find a lending closet that we can throw them to first.
We've got a good one here as well. All right, just show us some cool stuff. Just show us something that we don't know.
We're going to show, first of all, we're going to just quickly show how to put on a gait belt. And, we recommend, and I recommend, especially as a PT, if you're a caregiver and you are having to physically assist somebody, I really recommend a gait belt. It gives you a handle rather than using an arm for a handle or the pants for a handle. People don't like it when you grab the back of their pants and try to help them, get up out of a seat. So I've got a gait belt here with me, and I just wanted to show a couple of things. So as a therapist, my preference with a gait belt is actually a belt that's got a metal buckle like this. Now, there's a lot of them out there that have plastic buckles. Not my preference because it's difficult to adjust when it's on the client or the loved one. So with this gait belt, what I want to point out is I don't want anybody to get confused as to if they see this tag. This does not necessarily mean it goes on the inside or the outside, because I've gotten several gait belts that actually have been changed the opposite direction. So what I want people to pay attention to is the actual buckle itself. So what you're going to do, if you're putting this on a loved one, this buckle is going to be facing out just like this at you. You're going to take the actual end of, let me pull this up here, the other end of the belt, and you're going to put that belt up through the buckle by the teeth. You want that belt to go over the top of the teeth, okay? And then you bring it back down through the opposite side. And bringing it over the teeth is what gives you that locking position, okay? So let's back up real quick, Christina, and kind of show how we would do this. All right, so if you've got your loved one in a chair and you're going to give them some assistance, you're going to put the gait belt around them. And when you do this, you're going to know what your loved one has going on, but you always want to check to see, is there anything going on in the back or in the stomach area that might be disrupted by the gait belt, such as a surgical incision or an ostomy bag or a G-tube, a feeding tube, something like that. So you're going to place the gait belt around them. And again, you're bringing that belt up by the teeth. You're bringing it down through the opposite side. So I'm going to snug it up here first. And then I'm going to bring it down through the opposite side. And then when you're using a gait belt to assist, especially if you have to give some pretty good assistance, you're going to get in close to your loved one. Caregivers, you need to bend your knees, keep your head and shoulders up. You're going to give them verbal cues to help you. So you're going to want them to scoot forward in the chair if they can, okay? You're also going to count with them as you come up so they know what's going on. When you grab the gait belt, your hands are going to go underneath the belt right here. You're going to get in close and keep their body close to you. And when they go to push up or go to get up, you're going to count. So we're going to say we're going to get up on 3. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and we're going to help them up like that. Okay? So that's how, just really brief and really quick, how to use a gait belt. Let me grab this other one back here too. There's lots of equipment out there. I don't know how we're doing here as far as if you want me to grab something else.
Yeah, we've got a couple minutes.
Okay. I was going to mention, if someone has a loved one that is needing a little extra help, if it's taking quite a bit to get that person up, as long as it's safe, there are other belts. We call these actually transfer belts. This one in particular has, I don't know if you can see these, but it has a lot of handles on the back side. And it also has straps that go around the legs. So you kind of put these around the legs so that it really helps you grab their base of support or their center of gravity when you are helping them from one surface to the other.
We have a video for that, Marty.
We do.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
We have a video for transfers too. Yeah. Yeah, we certainly do.
Wow.
So there's.
All right, so tell us about this compression sock. I know a lot of people do not only wear them themselves, but they have to put them on a loved one. And I know that's very difficult.
It's like wrestling a bear sometimes, Marty. People just break out into a sweat and you just expends all that energy.
Yeah, and you may hear them called Ted hose or compression socks, but this is what we're talking about here. And this is basically called a compression sock donner. It's made of metal. And what you do is you slide the compression sock. So this is slid down right on the donner. You want to hold that for me? Thank you. It's going to be tough. You ready? So you slide this down on this compression sock donner. Let me put it in my lap just a sec. Slide it down here. And the loved one can actually then guide the toes into the stocking. And then it takes a little bit of practice, but you take this and you kind of work it up their leg. And as it goes up the leg, the stocking comes off and it comes up without having to, I mean, there's been many of us have broken out into quite a bit of sweat trying to get compression socks on our loved ones.
Right.
So
I bet. I haven't had to do that, but I have had to wrestle kids with soccer socks, and that's
okay. You might need one of these too.
Yeah, that might work for you too, Marty.
Yeah, they're like this long. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we have a video on this too. My mom was gracious enough to be in that one for us, so it was good.
Yeah. So I'm really impressed with all that you have accomplished, and they really go in and partner with different organizations to give them this education. So you guys just know that you're getting this kind of firsthand and have the ability. So I guess it's just getting it in our heads that this resource is there, right? And that it is, and to maybe go to the website and get an idea of all the different education pieces that are there.
And if you have questions about certain videos or about the website, reach out to us. We have a contact form that you can fill out, and we are very responsive about that. So please reach out to us. We love stuff like this. It's we are therapists by training, but we truly are caregivers at heart. So
yeah, and the big thing about our site is, and I know that you always kind of say you don't need a roofer until it starts raining and you realize you have a hole in your roof. It's kind of the same thing. And I know, caregivers are so busy and, to look through everything, but, at least visit the site, know where it's at and know where you can go, or you can at least, ask a question if you need something answered.
And we'll definitely, I think we're going to link each other up together, and we will use it as an education piece here at our center. So, because it's just fantastic. And we are just so glad to have met you guys. And I know our relationship will continue, but thank you for being here today. I've got lots of great comments from everyone right now. And I know we will definitely be in touch and certainly bring some more education. I know I'll sign up for the newsletter. I did sign up for your newsletter. So I'm sure there'll be good stuff in that.
It's a real newsletter, and we put helpful stuff in there. So please don't hesitate. So thanks for having us, Marty. We really appreciate it.
We appreciate you, and I know we will definitely do this again. So have a great day.
Very good.
Signing off from Lisa's Care Connection.